All right, how's that? Do we have some mic now? Do we have any any audio from me? We have the zone audio and the Csaw audio, hopefully. Let me know if you hear me in the chat, and then we'll do introductions all over again because I will confess that yeah, we can hear you now. Perfect. Welcome back to Tinybluegames. My name is of course Csaw Chris, and today we are playing Final Fantasy XIV in 2022. Welcome to everyone in the chat. Lots of people here today. Super happy to have you here with me. I've been excited to do this for a while. I always love streaming with you guys and chatting. We do have to thank Yuriku for some more seasonal attire. We've changed our bathing suit outfit that you saw in the thumbnail to a much more November, December look. And we got him to thank. He's sitting on this lovely rock back here, watching, judging. No, of course not. Okay. But yeah, what we're going to do today is pretty simple. We're going to do some MSQ. You guys voted for it, which does leave the Dark Knight quests for me to catch up. However, I feel like we're eventually going to get to the start of Shadowbringers for the MSQ, and then all of a sudden, it'll only be the Dark Knight quest that I have to do, which will make it pretty quick for us to do so. So that's great. But yeah, a little bit about me. I do have, obviously, the use of my eyes, again, which is great, but I might be a little bit slower at reading through some of the text today, so bear with me as we navigate some of these texts. But yeah, this should be a lot of fun. And as we're at 10:02, we may as well get to it. I'm just gonna take a quick look at chat first. Patrick says, "Excuse me, redo that intro with full force." Yeah, you did miss a pretty good intro when I thought the mic was on. I will say that I went quite a ways before I noticed the chat, yelling at me that, hey, we can't hear you. Yurko says, the perks of being a legacy player, I can buy the 1.0 Santa suit for really cheap for an NPC, from an NPC. I've been giving them out for free on my server for years. Now I can spread the joy everywhere. Well, that's wonderful. Patrick says, hooray, Csaw can see. It is a big plus. I mean, I always had the one eye going for me, but now at least I can have the two eyes open, and it's pretty decent. Ferris says, recap of what happened last time. You think I'm capable of giving a recap of what happened last time? I'm hoping the NPCs are going to do that for us. But from what I remember, and I'm sure there's people in the chat who will be able to name drop and give more specifics, there is someone who is coming more on a diplomatic mission to try and make peace. And I believe that is that Asahi person right here. We are very skeptical, but as we are ever good people, we are hoping to have peace talks. He is somehow related to Xenos, which is the part I'm struggling with. But we had a peace talk, and now we're just kind of the next step of that. I know that's like as rough as as rough as it could be, but that's the main takeaways. We did like a little walk around the camp with him. Oh, he helped us save that like farm NPC that we've seen several times throughout here, and like showed up quite a few times throughout the Stormblood campaign. He helped us fight off some attack as well. So we kind of have some areas where we've seen him do good as well. Yurko says, Asahi, the guy with the very punchable face, is trying to ingratiate himself to Domain. Yeah, so he's trying to do peace talks. That's essentially what we got. Will we be betrayed? Probably. Will we drink a drink that puts us to sleep? Almost definitely. But we're going to continue. But yeah, sit back, relax, grab a drink. We should be streaming for about 90 minutes again today, unless I tuck her out sooner. But I do think I should be good, as I've been working the last couple weeks now and building up that stamina of using eyes and mostly just doing stuff. It's amazing how much stamina you lose when you just lay on a bed listening to audiobooks all day. I'll say that the first week was quite the jump back into things. So we got a guilty conscience as our first quest here. Asahi says, well, After that little ordeal, I believe it may be time for us to return to the Enclave. Return to my lord, but what of Nami? You seem so eager to observe the villagers going about their daily lives. To be frank, I still am, but I rather doubt the good people of Nami would take kindly to the sight of a man in imperial uniform with blood still dripping from his blade. Even in your company, my presence would only prove as a distraction. Fret not, however. Thanks to the three of you, I have seen a great deal more than I otherwise would, and with luck, Lord Hien will have finished considering my proposal by the time we return. So there we go. I think he's all about, shows. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he set up the attack. I'm like ever the person. Actually, we should see if we can just teleport to the Enclave, because that does sound like somewhere we could teleport to. Oh, it's like not. All right, well, we got a little drive ahead of us, because the one thing I haven't done since you've seen me last is get any flying points around here. But that's good. It gives us time to chat, to catch up, right? Oh, right into the water to take my vehicle off. This is going real rough. Ferris says, populares of the Garmeland, peace faction inside the Empire. Okay, so popularis of the Garmeland. So he's like a sub-faction within the Empire then. Prestige says, also Asahi is Yoyetsu's brother and wants to bring her back with him as part of the prisoner exchange with Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's right. Now, because I thought he was related to Zeno somehow. He's related to Yoyetsu. That's what it is. Because that's the other recap that we super didn't touch on. Yoyetsu didn't die. She came back with Gegetsu and has lost all of her memories, apparently. So that's the other part of the plot that we also don't super trust, but we're gonna see how it turns out. Thank you so much for that. Prestige says you can teleport that. Well, why do I just not have it, or am I having one of those seesaw moments where I'm struggling to see why I can't teleport here? I feel like it's gonna be a horrible truth where I just don't have it for some reason. Patrick says, but the Empire is always presented as misunderstood friends. I'm sure this guy is on the level. Yotsu, lol. Yeah, I apologize for the names and the pronunciation. We're getting through it. Is this like a boat that's going to take me there? I'm so confused as to why, because we've definitely been able to teleport to or near the Enclave, so maybe we have to go somewhere first. But you know what? A little boat isn't like the worst way to get places. So how's everyone else doing this Saturday? Anything interesting happening? Anything exciting? I've been so starved from stream. Branson says Doman Enclave quest markers are often placed there at the boat you take to it, instead of inside the Enclave where the quest actually is and where you can tell. Oh, I see. So it wasn't necessarily my fault, but I could also just have known better. Prestige says, I think you can either click on the marker twice to teleport from the teleport list. Patrick says, as you travel and have a second, how is your Wrath of the Lich King gameplay going? It's going pretty well. I know the series has been super stuttery in its start. My Pally's actually level 40, so I do have a lot more progress in-game than is represented out of game. I just have to find the time to actually make the videos, which is somehow always a question mark with me in these days, especially in the last little bit. But it's been going really well. I think the best thing about it is I've been treating it very much like Final Fantasy XIV, where I only play when I want to play, really, and I take my time. Whereas, you know, a lot of my friends that I do dungeons and content with are going to be playing Dragonflight, and I have no doubt that we're going to like blow through like the next like the leveling zone and get to end game really quick. Do what everyone else does in MMOs and just rush to the end, which has its own fun, but it's really nice to have these games that you can kind of do at your own pace and really enjoy. I always do that. There's always like a bunch of games that I'm doing that in the background, which I love nowadays. Ferris says, are you from Canada, right? Yes, I am from Canada. It's from the West Coast, or Western Canada, if that helps you. So just enjoying the cool weather, which sounds like I'm poking fun, but actually the summer was way too hot for me. I can deal with, really cold. I've got tons of coats and sweaters, but when it's so hot and I don't have like AC, it's rough. That's what I have to say about that. Ferris says, are you going to see the World Cup? This time Canada looks like a nice team. So I don't watch a ton of soccer, which my dad, who's from England, is probably disappointed in. But if I do watch any, it'll be because I'm watching it with my dad. So it's something I do. I don't know. I just find it. I'm not gonna rag on I play hockey. That was my sport as a kid. I just enjoy the faster pace of it, and it's fast paced. It's the goals. I think it's just there's so few goals in it. I don't know. But yes, I'll probably watch some of it, but it'll probably be with my father instead of just by myself. So that's kind of the only chance of it. But I hope Canada does well. And I didn't even know Canada was doing well, so it's exciting to hear, Ferris. Northern says, to refresh your memory, press the teleport button on your hotbar to bring up a list of aetherytes that you have unlocked. Well, that's actually pretty interesting. I don't know if that's refreshing my memory as much as actually just teaching me something, but maybe I did know it at some point. Either way, thank you, Northern. Patrick says Csaw lives west of Winnipeg, Peg as he says, only because he is MST and Winnipeg is CST. Look at you narrowing in on it. Yeah, you can really narrow out a strip of Canada where it's from. Irko says, I think having ultimatic emergency justifies having scheduling ups. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, the eye thing came out of nowhere. It was the last thing I needed going into November. It disrupted a lot of work and a lot of video stuff. Prestige says, oh, your dad's from England. Me too. He moved to Canada to live. Yeah, his family moved when he was quite young. And he has no British accent or anything, except he says idea instead of idea. That's literally the only word that still exists. And with that, we'll push on to this because I know I get distracted. I'm just so excited to chat with all you. Yuguri says, thank you again for agreeing to join me. If not for your aid, the Kojin may well have overwhelmed us. Pray go ahead. Lord Hien is expecting you. I will remain without and keep watch over our guest. We had best not keep him waiting. Let's roll. You are expected, sir. Shall I allow you in? That sounds lovely. I love her Santa outfit now. It's one of the best things, having a very themed outfit while you go through the MSQ. I'm going to love it for the next couple times. Branson says, imagine the views if you had a video during the recovery titled One Eye Gamer Tried Final Fantasy. Dude. It would have been you're not wrong. The clickbait would have done well. It would have been the surgeon who would have judged me. Oh, I don't want to leave. He was very clear about what I can and can't do. And even doing everything I'm supposed to do, my eye is still I'd honestly say still worse off visually and irritably than it was before the surgery. There was very little, there was a little bit of flickering at the top of my vision in my left eye. And then, actually the day before the surgery, I started to have a little bit of less vision, our dark curtain, which is the real telltale sign of a detaching retina at the top of my vision. But since then, since the surgery, your vision in the eye is much blurrier. It gets better over time, but it's still nowhere near where it used to be. And you do have that flickering once again where you're kind of reattaching your retina. And then you also have a tremendous amount more floaters than you had before, which you have to monitor because if they increase over time, that's a bad sign. But if what you have after the surgery kind of, it's disrupting the floaters in your eyes, what it is, I think. I'm not an expert on eye stuff, but but yeah, it's a really interesting idea, Branson. That probably would have been a very well-performing video. That would have been Csaw's comeback on the YouTube algorithm that we're all patiently waiting for. It's been a dark, cold time on the algorithm for Csaw this year, but it's what it is. Welcome back, my friend. Yuguri tells me you accompanied her and Asahi on tour of Yanxia. I'm so sorry about the pronunciations. I had hoped you might take the opportunity to recover from your exertions at Sakazuki. But I gather your time was well spent. Until the ambassador offers Yuguri a chance to make a full report, however, I must rely on you to supply the details, so please tell us how it all unfolded. I mean, we were attacked, which is probably going to be of interest. The Red Kojin here, have there been any other such incidents since the liberation? Not that I'm aware of. If they are planning some new venture here in Yanxia, we will need to increase patrols. In any event, I am indebted to you for fighting them off. But tell me, and don't be modest, was Asahi truly first to leap to the youngster's aid? He was, but this was so a setup. Like, I feel like that's definitely going to be the case here, is that it was a setup, and we'll find out. Ferris says, yeah, Canada got first in his region, CONCACAF, above US and Mexico, and 2 days ago they won against Japan, and then the team in the World Cup. Oh, very cool, Ferris. Very cool. Patrick says, I would give my left eye for yours. Yeah, there you go. The titles list themselves, don't they? Han says, in the time I've known you, you have always been an excellent judge of character. What do you make of the ambassador? He may be an honorable. I still don't think we can trust him. Like, I'm not, look at the little earring on this. That's nice. Then the question of what his true intentions may be, the question of what his true intentions may be remains, okay. Regardless of his aim, I'm resigned to playing his game, for now at least. Well, forswearing summoning should be simple enough, considering you never dabble in it in the first place, which just leaves the somewhat thornier question of how to police the Red Kojin. It was with that very question in mind that I sought Alphinaud's counsel. Thanks to his knowledge of the icons and rituals used to invoke them, I believe we've identified a workable solution. As you will recall, Susanoo was summoned forth using the power of relics locked away in the Kojin's treasure vaults on the Isle of Zeki. Though said relics remain there to this day, it is all but certain that the act of summoning exhausted their stores of aether, making the subsequent summoning impossible. Assuming that this is the case, preventing the Primal's return rests on denying the Red Kojin the means to amass new stores of aether, either via the acquisition of crystals or the relics they are wont to collect. For this, I plan to enlist the aid of our friends, the Blue Kojin. Since Doma's liberation, we have forged closer bonds with Bunchin and his people, and with their support, I'm quite confident we can keep the Red from attaining what they require to call upon Susanoo. And what of the prisoners? They will exchange. They will be exchanged as agreed, and I will give full credit to Asahi for the success of the transaction. If there is aught we can do to help the populares garner favor, I mean to see it done. But first, I have some unfinished business to attend to. Would you come? All come with me. Yes, of course. But what manner of business? A past mistake which I would see put right, one which has weighed heavy on my mind. I wonder what this is. The plot thickens, as they say. God, the Santa outfit. Thank you so much, Yuriko. I love it. It's because of how little I am, too. I like how she's just been eating, like, the whole time since we've seen her recaptured.
I had her brought here in secret while the three of you kept our guest company. The world has not been kind to you, it is true. But that does not excuse your sins. You should be at the bottom of the river. Yet here you are, the living, breathing proof of my failure. A failure for which I would now make amends.
Is he gonna slice her up?
What did I do? I don't remember. Was it really so terrible? Tell me, please. What did I do?
You speak of sins, my lord. But at whose feet do those sins lie?
God, could you imagine learning, like, what you did in her, like, in her situation? That would be such a tough, like, news to receive. Like, I don't even know what you would do. I mean, you'd probably deny it. You'd, like, wouldn't believe it for a while. It's such an interesting, complex situation that they've created here. Yurku says the earring is something else. I think it works well. Oh, I guess, yeah, you can see your earrings in this game. So it is, I mean, it does work really well. Look at that. It works well. Patrick says, my favorite nation leader is Emmerich, and it's 100% because of his glam, but Hien is a solid dude. I think, Hien is like a very down-to-earth person, but yeah, Emmerich is maybe more fun. Yurko says, you look adorable. I really do, don't I? Karamaran says, hello, how is it going? It's doing well. How are you doing this morning? Thank you for coming to the stream. It's great to see you here.
With the soldiers who committed the crimes, or those who commanded them to do so? With both, I would say. For all have a conscience, and all must choose. But with no memory of who she is, or what she has done, what sin remains to be cleansed?
You ask that I show mercy.
I ask why the heavens saw fit to deny me my rest. Why Yotsuyu was spared not only death, but the bitter memories of her life.
You truly think it the will of the Kami? If so, her life is not mine to take. It is yours to safeguard.
But didn't we just hear that, like, the prisoner transfer was going to happen? So isn't she just going to go back with, like, Asahi?
Come the hour of the exchange, if her memories have not returned, she may remain here in Doma to live out her days as Tsuyu.
Like, was he just gonna, like, kill her and then be like, all right, here's your body. You never said if they were supposed to be alive or not. Like, was he gonna pull a fast one on Asahi? I don't know. Patrick says this is an interesting arc about forgiveness. She is awful, but she also has no idea. How can you punish her when she has no memory of her crimes? Yeah, it's a very interesting thing. And I think we talked about this in the stream just before we kind of had a break for a bit. But, you know, it kind of looks at, you know, prison and stuff as two different, like, streams, right? People, you can look at it as a form of protecting the masses, right? So you either have people in prison, or if you have to do executions and stuff like that, it's to keep people safe. The other angle is to look at it as a form of punishment for what they've done. And in this case, you know, if she truly has forgotten, there isn't really a need to do it to keep people safe. It is now just about revenge or punishment, which, you know, is a little bit different for person to person in terms of what you deem right. Versus, you know, if she was still evil and it was to protect people, it's a much easier decision, I think. So that's kind of the interesting thing there. It's got some parallels to what's her name, the other villain of this story, who Lisa's having to deal with. Why can't I think of her name? She's got the red hair. She's part of the Skulls, or she led the Skulls. Dark spooky powers. They're kind of interesting parallel stories because she's still very dangerous, I would say, but has more good intentions. So very interesting in that way. Fordola, thank you, Yuriko. Thank you. So it's an interesting parallel between the two of them. Vera says Gugetsu was the one she shot, so Rabid says she's not a prisoner of war, maybe. Okay. And then Ferris says Yuetsu was sold to a house of pleasure really young by her father, right? Yeah, she's got a very sad backstory, which is another parallel between Fordola and her too. They both have very sad backstories, which gives us, the people who have seen these events, and like a lot of other people probably don't know, sympathy for it. So very interesting.
But if they do, the Garleans shall have their viceroy. Though the people will protest, they will come to accept my decision when they have been reunited with their loved ones.
Thank you, my lord.
Now then, I believe we have kept our guest waiting long enough.
I'm excited to see what happens here. Like, I also forget who we're getting in exchange for this. I'm forgetting who they have of ours, but I'll see soon enough. Seven says, good morning. I made it. Welcome to the stream. It's great to have you here. Good morning. Good morning. Sad outfit. I'm going to be laughing about it the whole time.
Did Gosetsu not seem strange to you?
I mean, he's a pretty strange dude in general, but he definitely seems like, whereas before I think he was very excited to be involved with all this and like have a war happening again, I think he's now just tired of, he wants peace and to be done and to retire. If you ever retire from being a samurai.
For your Tsuyu apart, I mean. I know his powers of endurance only too well. But after all he has suffered, even he should not be on his feet. He puts on a brave face for our sakes, but it would not surprise me if he lacked the strength to raise his blade. Though I suppose if he and Yotsuyu are to enjoy a life of peace and quiet, he will have little use for it. It falls to us to shape that future. One in which he need never again set foot on the battlefield.
Interesting. All right. Dun, 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 dun. What are we up to now? Rise of a New Sin. All right, and we got some stuff, eh? What are these anyways? Huh. All right. With Yuetsu safely in Gugetsu's care, all that remains is to answer Asahi's proposal. I realize other matters demand your attention, but I would ask that you stay a while longer to see if this business through. Oh, all right. That was pretty quick. Oh, is it back into a cutscene? There's been a lot of cutscenes this morning. The real question, though, is this one voiced or do I have to read? I'm gonna say it's gonna be voiced, but I don't know.
My apologies. Our deliberations took longer than expected.
There we go. I was right. Just before we get into it, Patrick says, Csaw, what do you think? Should we punish her for her crimes or forgive her since she's effectively a different person? Ferris says, what makes a person a person? Yeah, my stance on it is very much that prison and other forms of deeper punishment are to protect people, and that should be their number one thing. I think if you look at it and you're doing it purely as a revenge or as a punishment for what they've done, and there's no greater good for the larger community, it shouldn't be done. So that my opinion would be not to kill her. But that's, you know, maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe she's actually still evil and we're gonna, you know, get tricked. So I will full on say I could be wrong, but that would be what I'd do. Yurko says, getting into a deep philosophical discussion this morning. Yeah, it really does. Like it's wild, the conversations you have with Final Fantasy's narrative versus other MMOs or even other just single player game narrative. It's wild, the questions they present to the viewer. Ferris says, maybe we are only defined by our memories in our past. It's interesting. Wow, this is deep.
Think nothing of it. The time afforded me the opportunity to go on a rather rousing excursion through Yansha. You have reached a decision then?
We are willing to cooperate with you in combating the Icon threat, and also in the exchange of prisoners. Assuming you accept our conditions, of course. As you know, your sister is in our care. Due to certain complications, however, we are hesitant to release her into your custody.
Complications?
She was inside Doma Castle when it collapsed. Though she survived, she remembers nothing of her past life, not even her name. To clarify, she is in our care not as a prisoner, but as a vulnerable citizen of Doma.
Are you saying you refuse to release her?
You're so right. He does have a punchable face. I think it's the haircut. Like it kind of gives you an open target for where you should hit him. So I think you're right. Rabbit says, I prefer retrospective justice, which I fully get. I mean, I think I'm honestly definitely in the minority. Certainly, like it's like I think a cultural thing as well that people would lean one way or the other, and I wouldn't be surprised to see if more people in Canada or the United States would go for more of the punishment or the punishment side of it. So I don't know. Steve Svent says, we are who we are today by the virtues of the paths we have walked to get here. Wow, that's a very pretty way of putting it. I like that a lot. But you're super right. Both you and the other comment that mentioned the past defining us. Like it is obviously the past that defines what we do, because it's experience that we use whenever we make decisions. So it makes a lot of sense.
Not at all. If her memory returns before the appointed hour.
And if not, what exactly? You will accommodate her here in Doma?
Well, I sincerely doubt she will be of any great strategic value to the Empire. She spends her days daydreaming of Dango.
It's true.
Dango.
Dango.
How dreadful. Very well. In light of our recent misstep in Sakazuki, it seems only fair that I show you the same understanding you have shown us. Though I do have one small request. Regardless of Yotsuyu's value to the Empire, she is yet my sister. Before I leave, might you permit me to speak with her in private?
Oh, I wonder if he's gonna like assassinate her or something.
Of course. Perhaps you could even bring her a plate of dango. She would be most pleased. Yugiri will see you to her chambers.
didn't realize this other guard of theirs has glasses. It's a little interesting. Looks kind of like a scholar person. Just the detail they have on some of their like background characters. Do we get to see the meeting? Oh my god, the Santa. I swear. Gonna laugh every time. Forgive me, my lord, but has he not been gone over long? Perhaps I should... Oh no. Calm yourself, Gagetsu. I understand your concern, but we have to wait. He deserves that much. I'm sorry to have kept you all waiting. Thank you for your understanding. Long did I dream of this reunion, but never did I imagine it would be so joyless. A part of me hoped your stories of her condition were just that, but alas, it is as you say. To sue you, do you remember anything of this man? Anything at all? No. I am a stranger to her. That much was clear to me from a single look. I leave her in your care, as you wish. Now, if you will excuse me, my superiors are long overdue for a report. They will be elated to hear of our agreement. Of that, I have no doubts. As for the exchange itself, once I have obtained the relevant permissions, I will arrange for your people to be relieved of their various duties and sent here to Yaxania. This will take time, of course. So it's not for anyone in particular. It's like our soldiers from the fighting, I guess. Like there's no high-profile person that I am trying to remember or anything like that. Hen says, of course, you may rest assured your soldiers will be well cared for until you return. We will also begin taking steps to better counter the threat of the Kojin and their icon. Before you take your leave, there is one other matter. I am informed it was you who took the lead in rescuing the young Domans from a band of Kojin sellswords. I have not yet had the time to thank you properly. Please, there is no need to thank me. I only did what anyone would do under the circumstances. Fortunately, I was in good company at the time. The blight of the Red Kojin is of the Empire's making. Were it not for our transgressions, those children would not have needed saving. The people of Doma have suffered enough, my lord. I promise to do all in my power to spare them future pain, but it at the hands of the Kojin, or indeed the Empire. I pray the Emperor will see things as you do. There may yet be hope for all of us. Well, there you go. Until we meet again. Gagetsu, as before, I leave Yuetsu to you. Be interesting if they become a very iconic duo that we return to in the future. Like if they kind of somehow have a friendship that blossoms out of this, that'd be very interesting. I invite the rest of you to join me outside. Let's treat Asahi to a proper farewell. Yurko says yes, ... Background characters. There's always more to it, isn't there, Yurko? Sven says, even though I love the glam, by the way, yeah, we have Yurko to thank for that. He presented me with some Santa outfit before. I was wearing like my summer bathing suit outfit before, so this is definitely much more in season, which is great. Ferris says, it's not his guard, it's his partner in the faction. Okay, so there's much more to this than I'm just assuming from seeing them standing by him. Caraman says, yeah, Doma is getting back people conscripted into the Garlean army and similar. So we're getting a lot of people back kind of thing. Sven says, yeah, this is a trade of prisoners of war. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Cameron says, by the way, my character Iced Bun has had a name change. I imagine you'll find me easy enough to identify. Interesting. A name change. Well, it's good you're telling me because your name's one that sticks out to me. So it's good that you're telling me that. Let's see if I can spot when you do come in. Patrick says, I mean, clearly these are the new Scions. I don't know if that's true. Oh, here we go. Some people up here. We've got Razor Dragon, Yurku, and Kara Miram. Yeah, so just, a very similar name to one that I might have seen in the YouTube chat. Well, that does make it a little bit easier to find you, which I appreciate. Look at you just all sitting there pleasantly, enjoying the scenery. I feel like the Santa outfit's a little bit out of place in the Doma climate, but, otherwise it's doing well. The ambassador's airship awaits at Castrum Flumus. Let us be off. I feel like Flumus was not the way you say that, but it's what we're going with. Is it just gonna get to us a cutscene? So many cutscenes this morning. Lots of story. It's kind of an odd-looking ship.
I wish you a safe journey.
Been a lot of voice acting for this too, which I do appreciate. As Fence says, based on what I've seen about weather in various parts of North America, you'd be much cozier in your Santa outfit. It's true. It's maybe much more at home in my local climate. But this is a form of escapism, isn't it? Going into the world of Final Fantasy XIV and living in the more tropical area right now. A nice change of pace from the iciness of the last expansion. Yurko says, Flumus was perfect. Well, there you go. Apparently, if I don't focus on it, it's when I do best.
This has been a most enjoyable visit. I look forward to our next meeting. Maxima, would you take the others and see that all is ready for our departure?
Oh, his name's Maxima. The plot thickens.
I simply cannot leave without first giving thanks to the Warrior of Light for accompanying me through Yansha.
It's gonna be so funny seeing the Santa outfit. Oh god, yeah. Oh, he's gonna do something to us.
Mark me, savior of the savages. There will be a reckoning.
Look at his eyes. Oh no. Oh no, oh no.
You've nowhere left to run, traitor!
Oh, this looks dark. All right. We'll just check chat real quick. Svant says, I changed my YouTube name to match my character name, so you might remember Stephen Watt better. Oh, I do remember Stephen Watt. Well, there you go. Because yeah, I was like, Svant is new and he's quite active in no, but I remember Stephen. So there you go. Svant says, also, wait a second. I can finally go say hi in game. Yes, we can. And I had made bold promises of us doing a community. What is it? The alliance raids for Heavensward at some point, which I should make good on eventually, but obviously things have been slightly delayed. So we'll have to do a community get together now that people can more readily visit, which will be great. Branson says, I'm beginning to have some doubts about this guy. Yeah, something seems off about this Asahi. Rabbit says, his name makes me want to drink a beer. All right, let's see what happens. We're gonna be hurt. I can feel it.
Ignorant savages! Killing us will avail you naught. For every Imperial you cut down, 1,000 more will come. Abandon this foolish endeavor and surrender. You may yet serve our righteous cause.
How dare you speak of righteousness? You who forsook kith and kin to serve conquerors! Be glad I grant you this mercy.
Dang. Who took them out?
What in the...
Oh, Xenos himself?
Reinforcements? No, just one! Cut him down!
Just one. Oh no. What a mistake they have made. God. The decimation.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
This one is promising. Who remains to offer us resistance?
A host of rebels led by Lord Cayenne hold the Enclave across the river.
Lord Cayenne.
God, his voice is just so, like, spooky and elegant.
The king of the former king of Dorma, sir. They say he is one of the greatest swordsmen alive.
Is that what they say?
Who was that?
Surely you jest. That was Xenos Galvus, legatus of the 12th, the Crown Bloody Prince. I heard he was strong, but that was frightening.
That was Lord Xenos. Everything you are, your power, even your face, it vexes me.
Your Santa suit.
Go on. Lash out like the beast you are at an emissary and jeopardize the newfound peace between Dorma and the Empire.
My goodness, this looks... This? Well, I mean, we kind of thought this was going to happen, but still, he looks so unhinged. Gunblade Xenos, first time Xenos took a katana. Oh, interesting, interesting. So that first attack was with a gunblade then. Cameron says, Asahi has a crush. I'd say so. I'd say so. He's smitten. Yeah, he looks quite unhinged. Oh my god.
My lord was destined to lead us unto a glorious new age. Your light is nothing to his radiance.
I mean, would not the other people be like watching this? Like, what?
I will cherish this moment, lock it away within my heart, until the day we meet again.
Well, there they go. I feel like we should have used that opportunity to like attack him with everyone there and been like, hey, you know, he's saying these things to me. Hey. But who knows? Who knows? It's interesting though. It's interesting. Prestige says, wait, he crouched down because you're a Lala. That's hilarious. Oh, is that why he was crouched over? I guess it makes sense. That's so funny though. Cameron says, I think it's supposed to be presented as him whispering to you with his back to the others so they don't see his expressions or hear his word. I guess, yeah, and if he wasn't crouched and just normally like talking, it probably would have looked less intense. So that's kind of fair. But even then, I feel like we'd been like, what are you like, wait, what? And like try to make a scene? I don't know. I don't know. Northern says, yeah, that's a nice attention to detail that they look over. It is really cool. I mean, I love that. I love that. I was Fences waving at me from somewhere. Where are you? Oh, there. Look at everyone coming to say hi. Offers you a humble greeting. Let's toss you a quick wave. Wow. It's so nice that people can come. That's so awesome. But yeah, it's a nice attention to detail that they crouch over. It's really cool that like your cosmetics are in the cutscenes all the time, so that's just fun. Oh, and a friend request for sure. First says, and ruin the peace talks? Why do you want to attack an ambassador? Because he threatened me. Because he threatened me. All right, let's see. Let's see what we got going on.
You look troubled, my friend.
Was it something he said? I think so. I think so. Are we gonna not tell him? Oh no, we are. Okay, good for us.
Of all the memories to witness.
I had my doubts about him, but I would never have guessed he was a disciple of Xenos. My lord.
Calm yourself, Yugiri. I set no store by him or his enlightened brethren. But if by treating with them there is even the faintest hope, we might secure the return of our conscripted brothers and sisters, I must play this game.
I guess that's fair. We are kind of getting like pretty good stuff out of this.
After the way I risked their lives in the rebellion, I owe them that much.
My lord, you bear no blame for their fate.
If not blame, then responsibility. They were prisoners, and still I chose to fight, knowing they could be executed in retaliation. But now we have a chance to bring them home. If it means bargaining with a monster, so be it.
My lord.
Yuri's like, I want to kill him.
Besides, I think he likes me, which is more than some can say.
Yeah, he does not like us. Aw, look how sad we are. Oh no. It makes no sense. Why would he bother keeping up the pretense for so long only to drop it right before the very end? Perhaps he no longer thought it necessary, having secured Doma's cooperation in the prisoner exchange. If he truly is a disciple of Xenos, 'tis possible emotions simply got better of him. Remaining calm around the man who slew his lord will have taken toll. I think he wanted to get alone time with his sister for some reason. I think there's something he did to her. I don't know what, but that's my theory. Aaron says, whatever the explanation, now is not the time for hasty reprisals. We shall proceed as planned. The Red Kojin must be placed under surveillance and the Garlean prisoners made ready for the exchange. But you need not concern yourself with the details. Leave the affairs of Doma to us. When the hour of the exchange draws near, we will call for you. So I'm guessing this is the end of like a chapter of this. I should certainly hope so. Whatever the Empire's true intent, we would be on hand to play our part, either to defend Doma or to help usher in lasting peace. I had thought we might use this time to return to Eurasia, but given the volatility of the situation, mayhap it would be best to if we remain in Kugani. Agreed. Between Yugetsu's amnesia and Asahi's dubious agenda, I say we have an ample reason to remain in the neighborhood. If anything should happen, anything at all, you must send for us at once. I mean, we're talking like there isn't a system that teleports us around the world within seconds, but I get it. I guess we did like, yeah, but no, they should be able to teleport too, right? Or is it just us for some reason? Oh, I will. On that you have my word. Charting a path through the sea of troubles promises to be difficult enough. I am not so proud as to attempt to the feat alone. To Kugani then. Tataru and the others must know what has transpired here. And here we are. Oh, you got a bear. Look at that. Oh, man, the bear is huge. Look at you. You got your glowy weapons and kind of a... Yeah, you're wearing like a Christmassy outfit too, aren't you? What'd you say? You said... Oh, there's been a lot of talking. Trying to catch up with the chat now. Prestige says should have had our link pearl on. Sven says I wanted to make sure you weren't alone in the holiday spirit. Oh, thank you. Yurko says wow, he ain't flexing on you. Cameron says you have an unusual reserves of aether and speed of recovery. In canon, teleporting like you do is very taxing for most people and used very sparingly. Okay, so it is something more special to us. Yuko says some people can't teleport. They can, but the Warrior of Light is blessed with abundance of anima and the limited energy that is necessary to teleport, so it's much easier. So that's a big part of it, eh? That's fair. And Fair says they can teleport, but it's not as easily as you. Interesting. I feel like I have been told that. I just, forgot. Is likely the case. But let's head to Kugani. Because we still have about half an hour, so we're making some pretty good progress. I assume we're slowly getting closer to the beginning of Shadowbringers. If it somehow isn't obvious to me when we end the Post-Stormblood MSQ, feel free to shout it out to me to make sure we don't, push too far. But I feel like we still have a little bit of ways to go. I should have teleported. Well, we're just going to go through a brief walk in Kugani, enjoying... Oh, you can toss some speed on too. There we go. Enjoying the music, Do 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 do. Back in 1. Whatever, Anima was an actual resource players had to manage. You got a small amount back every day and spent it every time you teleported. Oh, that's interesting. That's actually kind of like the system they had in New World at launch as well, where you could only do so much teleporting and stuff with the ether or whatever. What was it called in New World? But yeah, interesting. to hear about these different systems. First says gil cost is only the tax for using the Aether Crystal. Yurko says it will be very obvious when you're starting Shadowbringers. Don't worry. Okay, thank you. I'm sure you'll notice. No need to worry. And that tax has gone straight to Charlian. Oh, interesting. Well, good. I'm so excited that we're going to be like getting into Shadowbringers soon. It's like been such a journey from the very start of this to, which was when Shadowbringers came out that all this began. So it's very interesting. Greetings, honored sir. Will you be entering? I will be. Do 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 do. Oh, Tatsu's little outfit. Look at her. So funny. Do 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 do. My, it seems you're all in quite the predicament. Well, should we receive any urgent missive from Doma, rest assured we'll be first to let you know of it. Yes, of course, we're discussing ideas to replenish our coffers, but I suppose that can all wait if any urgent news should come through the office. Oh, right, because Alpha Note spent it on the sword. I forgot about that little thing. About that, I wish to apologize, Satiru. It was reckless of me to make such a purchase without first consulting you. You may be certain, however, that I mean to reimburse the Scions, even if it means drawing upon my personal funds. That's very thoughtful of you, but I'm sure it won't come to that. If Sorbonne's business proposition is as promising as it sounds, Csaw should have no difficulty whipping the red from our ledger. Forgive me, Csaw. It would seem I have unwittingly heaped my financial troubles upon you. I swear I will pay you back. Though I fear I will struggle to cobble together anything of monetary value. Knowledge I can gather in my abundance. To start, I plan to investigate the division forming within the Empire. Mayhap Rael and his associates have heard something on the subject. Regardless, the more we know about the politics of Garmelold, the better our chances of predicting the Imperial's next moves, which might yield you an advantage on the day of the prisoner exchange. Knowing what we do of Asahi's apparent resentment towards you, I cannot say what he hopes to gain from it. But if there is even the faintest chance that a lasting peace could be forged between Doma and the Empire, what choice have we but to try? Lord Hien had the right of it. Asahi may very well be a monster, but we must play his game for now. All right. Branded chest containing a complete set of dummy armor for fending, maiming, and striking. This is 370 item level. Now, do I want to get this, like would this be good gear to get for my up-and-coming Dark Knight? Like, to have him or I guess I can't, like, it's probably character bound. Or no, would it be? No, where it's one character. What am I talking about? There's one character. Is it worth getting, like, a tanking set from this? It's probably character bound. What game am I playing? And if it is worth getting a tanking set, is it? It's probably fending, right? Or is it maiming? Or maybe I don't have access to a tanking set. Fending, maiming, and striking. If anyone has any opinions on it, let me know which one I should choose. Until then, we'll be taking a look at the chat. Oh, I see stuff coming in. Ferris says soon TM, yeah, very much so. Cameron says, so having the number of 3 teleports in a day that could stack up was luxurious in comparison. Proceed says, this is still a really enjoyable stretch of quests though. I enjoy them as much as I enjoyed Shadowbringers personally. Oh, that's awesome. I have enjoyed them too, actually. Very interesting, deep quests. Yurko says, get it for an alt job. It's not as good as the Scavian stuff. Rabbit says, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Cameron says, yeah, a lot of people say Stormblood is the weakest expansion, but it's very story and quest. But it's a very story and quest series. I think most criticism stems from the dislike of being dragged back and forth between East and West. Yeah, I get that. Yes, Fending. The product gear you can buy is probably better. Sven says, and it's all right. Your gear, it's all right gear, but the tomb gear is still the best. But you can start mix and matching. Scavenging gear is better. Gear, all right. So it doesn't really matter. It's not a big decision, but we'll take Fending. Is what I'm getting from this. I like to outsource my. This is Fending before I like, yeah, Fending. I appreciate the input. Rabbit says Stormblood commits the sin of being in between Heaven's Sword and Shadowbringers. I guess that's kind of probably, yeah, like why it is viewed less so, because those two were just seen so good. Where does Endwalker fit in it? Like, now that people have played it for a while, do you guys think it was like as good as Shadowbringers? I know it's always hard to, you know, rank things, especially while they're still ongoing, but just curious, like how if you had to tier list the four of them or whatever, what would your tier list be? I'm just curious. Let me get some more Asahi stuff. Oh, here comes some thoughts. Ferris says Stormblood Sin. Oh, is its start very slow? Spence says it's all very Eastern looking, so nice glam. That's true too. Ferris says Endwalker is really, really good. Cameron says Endwalker so far is on par or slightly above Shadowbringers in my mind. Oh, that's awesome. Endwalker was just as good as Shadowbringer. Okay, well there you go. People seem to be pretty confident in it. Rabbit says close to on par with Shadowbringers. People have different opinions ranking it, but it's very good in its own right. Yurko says the initial hype for Endwalker has faded a bit. Most people really like it, but it's generally rated, not as well as Shadowbringers. But all right, but still very good. Like, yeah. Because it's kind of the same thing with Stormblood. It's very hard when you have an incredibly well-rated expansion to do just as well the next time. Branson says I'd say Endwalker was a bit better than Shadowbringers. There are different opinions out there. Well, everyone's gonna have a different opinion, so this is kind of why I like seeing you guys all share it. Spence says I have to duct tape Endwalker to Shadowbringers because they are impossible for me to decide. So very related. Interesting. Well, that's kind of nice too, because that's the one thing I would say is, you know, Heaven's Ward and I'm sorry, my voice is. You can see my practice of doing this is out of practice from a few weeks. But Heaven's Word and Stormblood are incredibly distinct expansions in my mind, which is nice. Terminus, oh, welcome Terminus. I didn't see you in the chat yet. Says Shadowbringers was a bit better than Endwalker as a standalone story, but as the end expansion of a story arc so far, I think it's the best overall. Well, that's awesome too. All right, Asahi says arranging the prisoners for exchange proved easier than I thought. Is it going to be just like a bunch of dead bodies? Yes, my lord, will be pleased. Everything is going according to plan. Oh, what did he give her? I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. This is what he wanted. He wanted to convince us just long enough to get this.
You remember nothing? Nothing at all?
Were we friends?
Yes. We were good friends, you and I. In fact, I've brought you a gift.
What's it gonna be?
I pray that one day soon, as you gaze into that mirror, you will remember the woman staring back at you.
It's so pretty. Who are you? Who are you?
Ah, the plot definitely thickens, but I think this is a Csaw was right moment. That's all he wanted from that, was to give her something.
How are you feeling, my lord?
What do we got here?
Fine, now leave me.
Question mark, question mark, question mark. Oh, well, that's good. There's no way this is Xenos who's, like, still alive, is it? What? But didn't we see him, like, kill himself? I'm so confused. I'm so... Oh my god. Achievement, solar cycle unlocked. Ugh, the plot thickens like so much. As Spence says, that's a great way to put it. Standalone, I rate Shadowbringers best, but the culmination of the 10 years of story and Walker is very satisfying. Ferris says Shadowbringers is a solid 9.5 and Endwalker is 9.0, but it's a 9.5 as ending to the story. Rappius just gives me a smile, I think, for what I just discovered. Irko says, you did see him kill himself. Yes. Irko says, you're now officially starting 4.3. Sven says, nah, just a bit of duct tape and he's fine. Gavin says, the plot thickens like excellent gravy. Ferris says, clap, 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 4.2, done. Yes. Is 4.3 the last one before Shadowbringers? Is this the last point? Plot gravy, says Spent. Is it 4.3 and then on to Shadowbringers? And we got another 15 minutes, so we can probably kick this off. Getsu and Tsuyu, maybe they are going to become best friends. Yep, they say yep. 4.5 is the last one. Wait, why is there a yep for 4.3 being the last one and 4.5 is the last one? So we got a little bit to go before preparing for Shadowbringers. First says, well, there is 4.4 and 4.5. Okay, so there's, but are you saying they're just 4.4 and 4.5 are much more Shadowbringers themed is what it is? Branson says, expansions always go until 4.5 or 5.55 before the next one begins. 4.3 ends the Stormblood story arc, and then 4.4 starts pre-Shadowspring. I see. 4.4. Okay. You're all agreeing. So if I was to start a stream that says I'm starting the Shadowbringers story, do you think I should start it at 4.4, or do you think I should wait until the actual first patch of Shadowbringers? What's the thought there? That seems like a strategical decision that I should be making, but I'm just getting some input because it seems like it's a prologue, so like a pre-patch, right? You should wait until you're in Okay, so wait until like the actual Shadowbringers. Okay. Cool. But no, that's exciting that we're gonna get some pre-quest stuff or some pre-expansion quests. What I should do at that point is maybe stop naming these like post-Stormblood MSQ and say pre-Shadowbringer MSQ. I don't know. We'll see. But thank you for the very specific information on the patches. Csaw. Impeccable timing. We have just received a letter from Lord Hien. He writes, the Domans are coordinating their efforts with the Blue Kojin to maintain a constant watch over the Red. By staying on the lookout for signs of crystal hoarding and the like, they mean to nip any summoning attempts in the bud, thereby satisfying the conditions for peace set down by the ambassador. For the Garlean's part, the populares have sent word that the vessel bearing the Doman conscripts is soon arriving in Yangxia. Twould seem the prisoner exchange is proceeding. They're gonna like blow up the vessel like in front of us or something. It's gonna be horrible. I'm imagining the Lord of the Rings moment where they have like the catapults of like all of the heads of like the people who went to attack them. Like it's gonna be same vibes. That's I do not trust Asahi. Lord Han requests your presence. I share his view that you should be on hand for the critical juncture. According to the letter, Yugetsu's memory has yet to return, so it looks like she'll be living out the rest of her days in Doma, assuming the ambassador means to honor the agreement, of course. Before we get to that, however, I think it would be wise to assess the condition, or her condition one last time. If the Domans have missed any change in her mental state, however slight, it would be better if Asahi weren't the one to spot it. I also like, how are we going to spot it? Because if she gets her memory back, I think the first thing she will do is pretend that she hasn't got her memory back until it's like the opportune moment. Yeah, and I fully think she's going to get it back with whatever object she's been given. We're just taking some water because, yeah, the voice is fading as we get into the final stretch of this, but we're going to make it. And actually, my eye's been doing pretty good. I'd say the hardest part for it is that the text box is in the bottom here. And I have no idea if that's... I don't even know if it would be worth changing it. I just feel my eye, like, look, I've got stitches still in it. So I feel it kind of, like, move down sometimes. And, like, it just kind of... like, and it's not like I'm not supposed to do it at this point. I'm supposed to move it around. You just feel it more. But it's been pretty good. I would have stopped if I was uncomfortable. Assuming my voice can keep going, we push on. Agreed, let's make straight away for the Enclave, then Lord Han will be waiting. I trust you will cope in our absence, Setaru. Don't worry about me, I'll be fine. Just be sure to come back safely. You can move and resize them if... okay. Would I do that in the HUD layout manager? Experiment. I feel like this is going to be like... okay, there's either system, hotbars, duty. I feel like this is going to be something that I don't easily figure out. You just drag it when it's... oh, well, that's even easier. Okay, we'll do that. You need to... we'll do that. We'll do that. I believe you can... you have to right-click the text box. Can't remember. All right, let's try that. We'll try that. Oh, it's in the Enclave. So how do you teleport? Okay, click it again. Which one is the Enclave? It must be this, right? No, that's Nami. Oh, is it? All right, this works. I don't know where I was looking at on the map before. But yeah, we'll try dragging it up because that would make it easy. It's in the the teleport menu, guys. I found it though, didn't I, by clicking enough. You don't understand how much I just want to click there. If I go looking in the teleport menu, I'm gonna get lost. All right, let's see. Oh, wow. This is great. I mean, maybe not as good for viewing for all of you, but like I could put it here or something like that. Thank you for the tip. Lord Han is expecting you. May I show you in? Well, that is like awesome. Now, will it stay there for each of these or do I have to do it each time? No, it will. Well, look at that. Ah, I see my letter reached you across the Ruby Sea. Thank you for coming swiftly. And oh, this is perfect. Well, we'll be doing this for just a little bit. Eventually, I'll return it to normal, but this does help a lot, actually. Though I wrote at some length on the subject of our forthcoming exchange, there was one matter I neglected to mention. It concerns Gogetsu. As you may have observed, he returned from his ordeal, rather the worse for wear, and despite his efforts to conceal his condition, or perhaps because of it, he has recently collapsed. Oh, actually, I wonder if up here... Nah. Now I'm just trying to get like a good spot for it. It's kind of cutting them up. Maybe like this is pretty good for me. We'll do this. We'll play around with it. You do what makes you feel comfortable. Yeah, and we'll play around with it. We'll find what works. Good gods, is he all right? Well, this is awesome that you can do this. Confined to the bed and grumbling without cease, but he has he has shown signs of recovery. He promised not to tell you, lest you worry unduly, which was all very well when you weren't here. Now that you are, however, I think high time he received some visitors. Might you spare him a moment? Yugetsu has scarce left his side, and I imagine you are curious to see what has become of her as well. We will visit him at once, Csaw. Alize, shall we? She's poisoning him, I bet you. I bet you she has her memories back, and she's poisoning him.
Open wide now.
Yeah, she's feeding him too. That's definitely what this is. Oh, this one I have. Oh, so I can't move these ones, eh? But it's okay because they read it, which is fair.
Pleased to you. I'm not so frail that I cannot feed myself. I grow weary of the taste of gruel.
You don't like it? Can I fetch you something else?
Aye, wine. Or if that is not wholesome enough, I don't know. A sweet persimmon from Namai? I enjoyed them in my youth.
A persimmon?
Nay, pay me no mind. I am full. Besides, we have guests.
I hope we are not interrupting your meal. We had heard you were confined to bed and thought you might welcome some visitors.
Confined to... A gross exaggeration. A trifle drained from my exertions, perhaps, but with a little rest, I shall be fighting fit again in no time.
Take off your clothes.
What?
Setsu, is this how you've been spending your time?
My lady, I assure you this is not.
Off with them. We need to wash you. You stink.
Why would we not wait until the visitors are gone?
What are all these scars?
I'm gonna
There are
guess
so many of
a
them.
lot of them are from you.
A life of battle will leave its mark upon a man.
Oh.
Is something wrong to you?
Starting to get her memories back.
It's nothing. I'm fine.
But leave me be, woman. I will not be fussed over like some newborn babe.
Oh, this is a fun scene. They make a convincing pair, do they not? On first acquaintance, I would think him a doting grandsire and her a model grandchild. Indeed, had someone told me a year ago that I would live to bear witness to such a scene, I would have declared them mad. That aside, I'm relieved to see Gogetsu has lost none of his spirit. But what a turn of events. I mean, for her to suddenly be watching over him, you couldn't make it up. Although I suppose Gogetsu is an old man, with the way he charges through life, it can be easy to forget. He has resisted decrepitude with the same defiance he showed the enemies of Doma. But no matter how adamant his will, no man can carry on forever. He has pushed himself beyond the limits of endurance too many times. Even if his health returns, the fact remains he will never again be the warrior he once was. He has given his all for the Legion land, and we will ask no more. And what of his nurse? Is if Yagetsu is feigning that, well, she certainly has me fooled. This is no pretense. Yuguri, out of all of us, I would think you would be the hardest to convince, so what makes you so sure? I have been spying on Yetsu from the shadows, waiting for the misstep that would betray her character for what it is. But her mask has never slipped, not once. She has remained in character from the first. One evening, I watched her as she sat in her chambers, unguarded and alone. She had taken the dishes from the cupboard and was pretending to prepare dinner right there on the tatami. A child's game. Interesting, interesting. Even the wariest shinobi would not go to such lengths. I can but conclude that her mind is truly broken. Well, that's good enough for me and everyone else, I would hazard. Not for me, not for Csaw. Aye, the matter is settled. Ietsu will become Tsuyu and begin a new life at Urandoma. Before we can that can happen, however, we will need we'll need to present her to the ambassador one last time to prove that her memory is truly gone. I would not risk parading her in front of our returning conscripts. Her presence at the exchange would only stir up mutinous thoughts. Understandably, she as good as fastened the chains around their necks. Aye, which is why I mean to conclude this business with Tsuyu first, out of the sight of my countrymen. Will you help me? We are at your service. There is no higher purpose than the pursuit of peace. My thanks. The Garleans are on their way, and we must prepare to welcome the ambassador. We will meet at the docks with Tsuyu. Well, there we go. That was a really fun scene, actually. I like that. Like, they do have, and I've said it so much, they have the fast-paced action and then like very down-to-earth, funny and charming scenes, which I think so many other stories in games, and specifically MMOs, they don't do. They just have like high-paced action a lot of the times. That's really nice to see. But I think we will pause the stream there. We're just about at the 90-minute mark, and my voice is definitely going. But super good to know about the text boxes for the non-voice cutscenes, that you can bring them up, because that will definitely give a bit of relief for the eye. But thanks to all of you for coming and joining for the first stream back. I'm excited to have you here. I hope you had a good time and enjoyed it. I look forward to our next stream as well. And certainly to some more videos. But no, I had a lot of fun chatting with all of you, so thanks so much for coming. Hopefully you all have a great rest of your Saturday and a great rest of your weekend. And I'll see you in the next stream. Actually, we'll just leave out here and see. There we go. That way we can see our friends out here as we head out. But yeah, thanks for stream, everyone. It was great. I'll see you in the next one.